We have started to record the most recent session of SPCH 1113, Introduction to Public Speaking, for the first summer session. It is Tuesday, June 4th, 2024. Our recording is starting a little bit later today because of the issues that we've had in the Arklatex over the past 24 hours with the storm, the electrical outage, and whenever that happens, sometimes your internet goes down too. So this video will be posted a little bit later than 1 p.m. this afternoon. What you're looking at is the course syllabus area in the student preview mode on Blackboard. For your benefit, let's go to the course speech schedule. Make it bigger. To remind all of you that coming up in a relatively short period of time, at the end of the day on Thursday, you have more than 48 hours by 5:30 p.m. on Thursday to submit to my SAU email address your demonstrative speech videos. What we're going to be doing today, and probably a little bit more tomorrow, is to look into topic selection, how you can put your slides together, how you can become more conversational and extemporaneous by manipulating to your benefit all of those slides in such a way where it not only enhances your storytelling, but keeps you both extemporaneous and conversational. We have Curry, Davis, Johnson, Knuckles, Rutherford, Thompson, and Torrance. All of you will be included in the Thursday afternoon video. So take your time to record the take that you think is best representative of a demonstrative speech that you like in terms of a topic, the storytelling, the interactivity, checking the spelling to make certain that nothing calls attention to itself in terms of sloppiness, because attention to details matter. Take as much time as necessary. And then, as I indicated yesterday, my demonstrative speech instructor video will start to record probably sometime around 5:45 or 6 p.m. on Thursday. I will continue to do that for the rest of the term for the informative speech, the persuasive speech, and the wildcard speech, so all of your materials can be included in one all-encompassing video. Those Thursday videos realistically will probably be the only ones that are longer than 30 minutes, so I can memorialize everything into one class session. With that in mind, now let's go to the course itinerary, reminding you of how we're going to be doing this. Research yesterday, topic selection today, probably a little bit tomorrow, but again, Thursday is going to be your day during the first summer session. With that in mind, in a few minutes, we're going to be going to my website to examine different types of topics. In the meantime, two things. All of your course videos are going to be available right here. All of your student speech videos with examples this week of demonstrative speeches are available right here. It brings us to an area of creativity with your slides. How can I create a demonstrative speech outline, whether it be, as Professor Reppert mentions on the syllabus, with Google Slides or Canva or even Microsoft PowerPoint, that are really going to look as professional as possible? Here is one suggestion. It is called Slides Go. When you're at this location, if you want to download a different template, you're more than welcome to. I would experiment with all different kinds of slideshow ideas. So in your particular case, when you're putting something like this together, it's going to work and it's going to be as professional as possible. But let's say that you want to look at something a little bit different. In this case, maybe you want to use Loom as a platform. That's what I use to record all of my speeches. In this particular case, you can see that I have the course overview, session 1, session 2, session 3, and session 4 in my Loom archive. If you want to include that, it's certainly acceptable. If you want to use Microsoft SharePoint, that's certainly okay as well. How you want to include your webcam, what area of the screen that you would like to use. Now, this is my website. Here, you can see different types of items: the syllabus, the checklist, the course itinerary, and your course speech schedule. Scrolling through, cooking, crafting, how-to demonstrations on a variety of topics: eye makeup, blueberry cheesecake, chicken spaghetti, Chinese paper cutting, drawing a proportional face and head, something called kvass, which is called Russian cola, but it's also interesting because it is a very, very weak Russian beer. Oreos, a floral presentation. An international student wanted to give a presentation on something called sadza, which basically is almost like an international version of grits, looked very tasty. Lei making, yo-yo, exercise, custard pie. Then down here are different demonstrative speech audio and video presentations. If that looks familiar, that was from yesterday with our poor man's pie. You also notice that in her particular case, her audio was a little bit lower than usual. So all of you need to experiment with not only the slides, but where do you want your webcam in the screen? What is your audio level? Are you far away from your webcam? Do you have a ring light? What's the quality of the light for your particular presentation? So keeping all of that in mind, now let's go to my YouTube channel for an example of a demonstrative speech. This is from spring of 2021 during the pandemic. It's a little bit longer, but I wanted to show it to you in its entirety. This is called Teaching Your Dog a New Trick, and she incorporates video into the presentation itself. It's very well done, and if we have time, we'll also put in a cooking presentation immediately afterward. But this is from spring of 2021, a demonstrative speech on teaching your dog a new trick. Here we go.
Hello, my name is Taylor Ivy, and this is my demonstrative speech for Introduction to Public Speaking. And I will be showing you how to teach your dog a new trick. So this is Rowan, my 1-year-old dog, and I have been training him since he was about 8 weeks old, and he will be helping us show you and explain how to teach your dog a new trick. So teaching tricks is not just for puppies, although sometimes it's easier because they are more food motivated or toy motivated. But also, if you think about it, older dogs have longer attention spans and puppies have very short attention spans. So it's harder for them to keep concentrated when you are trying to teach them new tricks, even though they are more food motivated. And you always start off with the basics first. You always want to teach them how to sit first, then lay down, then stay. And the last two, load up and back, are just my personal basics for Rowan, because when he was a puppy, I would take him to work every single day to get him acquainted with the vet office. And if I did not have a blanket over the seat before he jumped in there, he would get my truck all muddy from the grass and stuff that he would run through. So I had to teach him, give him a cue as to when I wanted him to load up into the truck. and that was the perfect way. Also, he would sometimes be in my seat instead of his seat that he was supposed to be in. So I taught him how to back, which back up pretty much. And even if he's on the ground, he knows that that's gives me space. So these are my basics. It might change for you, but sit, lay down, and stay are the pretty much basics that pretty much all dogs need to know for basic life. And these are so important for, one, my example of Rowan loading up in the truck. Also for going to the vet clinic. In this video, I have me trimming Rowan's nails at my work, which is at the vet clinic. And a lot of dogs are very stressed out when they come to the vet clinic. But if they just know a few tricks, or just, it'll calm them down so much and give us, it's not only good for us, for the dogs to know some tricks, but it's also good for them. It keeps them calmer and they're more comfortable around us if they do. And they need to be acquainted with people also. But tricks are the most important. And when I pushed on his side just a second ago, that was my cue that I used to teach him how to lay down and roll over. And it just helps him relax on his side, so I get more access to his paws when he lays over. And before we start, I want to tell y'all a few things that you need to remember. You need to be aware of your body language. So if you walk towards your dog and you put most of your body pressure, not physically, but when you walk towards them and you go towards them, just that's it. And your dog sits down because all of his body weight goes to his back end, and it causes him to sit down. That's the basic of that's a body language basic on how to get your dog to sit down on cue. So you would start by having him, putting your body weight towards him, having him sit, and then treating him for that. And then later you would add in a voice command. And you have to be very calm and keep very patient, because sometimes it takes days for dogs to learn tricks. Some dogs, depending on the trick, it might take them 30 minutes to an hour. But you never know. Your dog may take a few days, and you might do short intervals each day to get him to pay attention more, if he has a shorter attention span than some dogs. Rowan, it will take me an hour to teach him the basics of a new trick, but it'll take over a few days for him to understand the voice command that goes with that trick. And each time your dog does a small step in the right direction, you want to reward them. For example, like I said, a treat or a toy for puppies, and whatever your older dog likes the best, you would use that. So that also goes with positive reinforcement. So you would use a treat or a toy. Those are really good tools for positive reinforcement. And you always want to reward a step in the right direction, like I said. First, they'll do small steps, or even you have to get them to do it yourself. But once you reward them, they'll start figuring out, if I do this, when they do this body position, then I get a treat, or I get to play with my toy. They'll learn that, and then they'll learn, hey, this means this, and I get it rewarded. It's a good thing. So after a while, they start understanding better, and you don't have to direct them near as much to get them to do the trick. So you need to expect a little bit more and more as you go, but still be patient with it, because some dogs take a little bit longer. This is Rowan explaining to us. This is his favorite toy on the floor, and these are his favorite treats. And those are the ones I usually use. If you don't have treats, you can use kibble. Little pieces of their food, especially if they're really food motivated. That works perfectly. And like I was saying, you need to start small. Don't expect very much because they don't know it yet. So you want to direct them a lot at first. And then slowly, very slowly, depending on their learning, how good they learn and how good they pick up on stuff, you will start expecting more and directing less. And take good breaks in between when he or she does the trick or even makes a good improvement with the trick. And after they got a good understanding of the body movement that you're using to get them to do something, add a voice command in there. So if you're teaching them how to sit and you get them to sit on their butt and they know that every single time they do it really easy when you do the body movement, then you start adding the word sit in there. So when they sit, you say, "Good boy, sit," and then give them a treat after you say it, so that they know that's what that means. It's not just the body movement. When they say that, I should sit, and then I get a reward for it. This is Rowan showing us how he learned to lay down. So I will take my hand, put it in front of his face, then put my hand flat on the ground. That is showing him how to lay down. And it's the body movement that I use to teach him how to lay down. And then for another example, this is how I taught him to shake. I would just grab his paw, shake it, say "good boy," then give him the treat. And all different tricks have these little things that will slowly incorporate the tricks so that they start understanding and use those cues, either body movements or verbal cues, to do that trick. But you always want to reward them in a little step in the right direction. And after a while, this is how Rowan tries to shake now. So he knows that he gets a treat whenever he shakes my hand. So he wants to shake my hand all the time. So depending on the trick, especially if your dog's food motivated, if he or she learns the trick, they will always want to do that trick to get food. And that's the mindset that you want them to have about that trick. And thank you for watching. This is my demonstrative speech for Introduction to Public Speaking. Thank you.
What I like from her particular presentation is not only is it very thoughtful, but she includes, as I mute it and put on closed captioning, she also includes video, which was very helpful. In real time, I will take the closed captioning and make it bigger. I'll try in the settings. But in her particular case, the interesting part of putting together the speech is not only the storytelling ability, but also at the end of the presentation, where she incorporates
say "good boy," then give him the treat. And
audio and video in real time. Her timer for Loom is on the left-hand side. As she wraps up the presentation, and let's get near the end, she also has an excellent conclusion.
Now, so he knows that he gets a treat whenever he shakes my hand. So he wants to shake my hand all the time. So depending on the trick, especially if your dog's food motivated, if he or she learns the trick, they will always want to do that trick to get food. And that's the mindset that you want them to have about that trick. And thank you for watching. This is my demonstrative speech for Introduction to Public Speaking. Thank you.
Let's get to our second presentation of the day. It is a cooking speech. This is from 2 years ago. During the first summer session, she had exactly as much time as all of you will have to prepare, and it's on how to make Dorito casserole.
Hi, my name is Anaya Wright, and I'm doing my demonstrative speech on how to make a Dorito casserole. It's one of my family all-time favorites. We do it on Easter, Christmas, all the holidays. We love Dorito casserole. Everyone make their Dorito casserole a little different. Just like us, we make ours different. But today I'm going to do the basics on how to make a Dorito casserole. The ingredients you will need: a pound of hamburger meat, a bag of Doritos, a can of cream and mushroom, a pack of shredded cheese, a can of rotel tomatoes, and an aluminum pan. Step 1. You'll want to brown the ground beef. Once it's thoroughly cooked, drain the grease. Make sure it's real brown, no red, brown. And once it's real brown, please drain the grease. Nobody wants to leave the grease in the ground beef. Step 2. Add the rotel tomatoes to the ground beef and the cream of mushrooms. You do both of them together. Step 3. Layer the Doritos in a pan. On the picture, it's exactly how it's supposed to be. Make sure they're crushed up and just layer them out in the pan. Step 4. Layer the meat mixture, layer the shredded cheese twice. Do it twice so it can be full. Step 5. You'll want to bake in the oven for 15 minutes on 350 degrees Fahrenheit so it can be ready and smoothly cooked through. The last step is going to be done. On the right is kind of showing how a Dorito casserole is supposed to be, but I'm going to show you this video on how someone else made theirs, and yeah. It's basically the same, but theirs just a little different from how we make ours.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm making a Dorito casserole, and first thing I'm doing is burning some ground beef. And once it gets done, we're going to drain all the grease out, and we're going to add a package of taco seasoning, and just add the water that the package calls for.
We don't use taco seasoning. But everybody's different. But the meat is brown all the way through. She drained her meat.
The next thing I'm going to add is about a half a can of refried beans. And you don't have to add these, but we just really like refried beans, so I decided to add them. And we're just going to give that a really good mix. And now I'm going to add about a cup of the salsa con queso cheese and just give that a really good mix as well. Once everything is mixed together, I'm just going to let it simmer for a while.
Yeah, theirs are definitely different.
Now we're just going to add some Doritos to the bottom of the baking dish, and the next time I make this recipe, I will definitely add more Doritos, at least enough to cover the bottom of the dish.
Yes, once you make a Dorito casserole, you have to have a lot of Doritos to cover the bottom dish, because this not enough. And they have to be crushed up. I think she's just making her a little side. Okay, that's kind of how you make it, except you want it better in the oven, like on the picture on the right. That's really how you make it. I was just trying to give a like an example on how you could kind of make it by her doing a video. I kind of wish I had a video of me doing it, but the next time I'll make one and show you guys. It's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
What I appreciate in both of these cases, whether it be teaching your dog a new trick or making Dorito casserole, is the creativity and thoughtful nature of the process. If I leave the audio up and go back to around the 3-minute mark, notice what she does. Like our first speaker today, she incorporates video and audio into her slides.
Is broiling some ground beef. And once it gets done, we're going to drain all the grease out, and we're going to add a package of taco seasoning, and just add the water that the package calls for.
Season.
And then as we mute the audio and let the video play in real time, you can really see what I was indicating before, the storytelling element for all of your graded speeches during the first summer session. Not only should we hear your enthusiasm with the demonstrative topic, but we should be able to see the process in action, a combination of text, images, visuals, videos, whatever you think is appropriate for the occasion. In her case, you can see that she decided to put her webcam in the upper right-hand portion of the screen. As I told you before, many of the online platforms will have as a default position the webcam in the bottom left. But whatever works for you is appropriate. So as we wrap things up for the day, let's go back to the student preview mode of Blackboard. Starting at the bottom, all of these videos that ideally in your case we're going to add, all of the examples now that I played in class, my instructor videos with this one being added shortly, the course speech schedule, the course itinerary, a link to my website, and then all the way up at the top, announcements. Let's focus on what's in green. Thursday instructor course videos will be recorded and posted in the evenings, weeks 2, 3, 4, and 5, to include all graded speeches for that week. And then my email address, and you're going to submit your demonstrative speeches no later than Thursday at 5:30, and I will take my Thursday recording and literally start later in the day so all of your work can be included on a Thursday course video. My guess is that all of the grades would be available on Blackboard sometime before class the following Monday, as we would then transition next week, week 3, from the 10th through the 13th, looking at informative speeches. But I'll leave it here as we conclude for the day. Start thinking about slides, audio, video, webcam. All of those elements for a how-to demonstrative speech are going to matter. We will continue tomorrow by looking at more demonstrative speeches from years gone by, giving you an additional 24 hours to prepare your own presentations. So good luck with that. And that concludes the recording session for today.